Welcome everyone, and we will start in about 5 minutes. Hello and welcome. I see a lot of familiar faces there, or names, should I say. And we will get started in about 3 minutes. Well, hello everyone. I'm still seeing a few people come in, so we will get going. We have a good few folks there. I'm seeing a lot of people. Hi, Blanca. Okay, so welcome. Hi. Welcome to the new additions to the Apex Toolkit. I am Lauren Dunn. I am a senior Salesforce advocate at DocuSign for our developer programs, and I will be your cruise director for today. Today, I'm here with our Salesforce expert. Seriously, try and stump him. I will give anyone a swag kit if you ask a question and stump Vineet. One swag kit going to anyone who can do that for me. So I'm joined by Vineet Puranik, who is our software engineer. And we are so excited to have you here to walk us through the new Apex Toolkit additions. So with that, hi Vineet, how are you?
Hello, Lauren. Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing good. I'm excited for today. But we're not alone, Vineet. We have Melissa here in the background keeping us going and making sure everything is working correctly for us. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Melissa for a little bit of housekeeping.
Great. Thank you so much, Lauren. Okay, housekeeping. As mentioned in chat, you are placed in listen-only mode. If you have questions, please use the Q&A button to ask questions as they occur to you, and we'll answer via the Q&A box or let you know we'll intend to answer them live. Right-click is also your friend in this case. To save your questions and answers, simply right-click on them and copy and save to your desktop or document. You can unmute yourself during the Q&A session and you'll be able to speak with us live. In the meantime, please ask questions or place your comments in the Q&A box. And before we get started, just a quick double check. Is this webinar for you? Next slide, Vineet. There we go. This session will be more technical in nature for developers. So if you're not a developer, you're absolutely welcome to stay. Or you can check out more of our beginner Salesforce documents here at the link that I just placed in chat for you. And lastly, you're going to see a quick poll in just a moment. If you can answer those questions, that will help us understand where you are in your development journey and enable us to customize content for this and future webinars. So with that, I will start the poll and hand it off to Vineet.
Sure. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Lauren. And good morning, everyone. Before we start, just a quick reminder that any presentations or any demos that we will be showcasing, please do not make your buying decision based on the demos. We encourage you to thoroughly vet the products, test them in your sandbox before purchasing the actual products. All right, let's go over the agenda for today's session. We'll start off by providing a high-level overview of the Document Agreement Cloud for Salesforce. We will then go over a few of the basics of Apex Toolkit and touch upon common use cases customers are using Apex Toolkit in their Salesforce orgs. Finally, we will focus on the main topic for our today's webinar, which will cover the latest additions made to our Apex Toolkit. We are hoping that these new additions will help customers make their Apex Toolkit implementation more dynamic. While walking through these new additions, we are also going to see examples of how we can see them work in a live Salesforce org, along with any necessary Apex that is involved in implementing these examples. So let's start off by discussing about Document Agreement Cloud for Salesforce. DocuSign has been helping Salesforce customers automate their business processes using eSign since 2010. With this new vision of a DocuSign Agreement Cloud for Salesforce, we are on the path for providing customers with a platform to automate their entire agreement process in Salesforce. This includes the ability for customers to prepare, sign, act, and manage their agreements in Salesforce using underlying Salesforce data without having the need to leave Salesforce. This is possible by providing our customers with a managed package DocuSign Apps Launcher, which is a replacement to our legacy solution DocuSign eSignature for Salesforce. Currently, our package includes eSignature, eSignature for Salesforce CPQ, document generation, document negotiation, CLM, and Apex Toolkit, which is going to be our main topic of discussion today. With DocuSign Agreement Cloud for Salesforce, our mission has been to help customers get more value from Salesforce using DocuSign. Customers can save time by creating agreements directly in Salesforce using our pre-built managed package out-of-the-box solutions or Apex Toolkit APIs. Customers can reduce risk by eliminating manual tasks and data entry errors that can occur. Our solutions are tightly integrated with the underlying Salesforce platform, which makes the platform data within your agreement process seamless. Our agreements are also automated and risks are reduced. This not only helps organizations work on more customer deals and make their customers happy, but also increase the overall productivity to handle and cater more customers. So use cases for DocuSign Agreement Cloud for Salesforce touch all the major cloud offerings provided by Salesforce, right from Sales Cloud to Health Cloud. The use cases keep on growing as more and more customers are adopting to digital processes. We are highlighting few of the relevant use cases here, but as I mentioned earlier, as customers are using more and more offerings provided by Salesforce, our aim is to make sure that our integrations and our solutions work with all these new and upcoming Salesforce orgs. Now let's start talking about DocuSign Apex Toolkit. Most of the DocuSign workflows and processes can be accomplished with our managed package and out-of-the-box solutions. However, customers have complex business processes that are built using a combination of Apex, Salesforce Lightning components, Salesforce Lightning Web Components, Visualforce pages, and all the fancy customizations that you can do in Salesforce. With DocuSign Apex Toolkit, our vision is to provide the ability for customers to utilize DocuSign APIs directly in your organization's Apex code so that you can integrate your DocuSign workflows and Salesforce business processes more tightly. Apex Toolkit is one such offering, which is a set of predefined Apex methods, classes, and utilities that encapsulate DocuSign API in your organization's Apex code. Consider this like an SDK that DocuSign is providing so that you can utilize DocuSign APIs in your organization's Salesforce Apex. This Apex Toolkit is part of our managed package DocuSign Apps Launcher. So in order to utilize our global Apex methods, you just have to install the managed package, connect your Salesforce organization to your DocuSign account. That's it. There is no special setup required in order to utilize our Apex Toolkit methods. I would also like to encourage all the folks to check out our developer center, which contains extensive documentation with respect to the installation guide, the API reference, as well as a few handy code examples that should help developers get started with the DocuSign Apex Toolkit. So a few common use cases that we have seen customers implement via our Apex Toolkits are sending envelope to multiple recipients. The envelopes that are being sent can contain Salesforce files as well as DocuSign templates. The recipients that you can use in your envelopes can be any underlying contact, user, lead data from Salesforce, or any custom object implementation that you are building in your Salesforce org. Customers have also been using Apex Toolkit in order to bulk send envelope to multiple recipients. Another popular use case is embedded signing for envelopes within Salesforce. So consider a community user or a partner user is logging into the community and they are signing and preparing work orders directly inside the community context on the fly. So as you can see from the common Apex Toolkit use cases, this will give you an idea of the range that you can apply to our Apex Toolkit APIs. So basically, starting from invocable Apex methods, using Apex Toolkit APIs, you can automate your process builders. If you go one step higher, you can build classy UI using Lightning Web Components and use our underlying Apex Toolkit methods in your controller methods. And one step higher would be exposing web services via Apex to external domains and organizations from Salesforce, which are then integrated with your DocuSign processes and your Salesforce processes. So the range encompasses any functionality in Salesforce that can be automated via Apex. We have examples of how you can use our Apex Toolkit methods using triggers as well on our Developer Center website. Let's take a look at our recent addition, which is dynamic tags. So before starting with the discussion on dynamic tabs, I want to first of all focus on what are envelope tabs or what are envelope tags, as we popularly call it. So tabs are places in a document where a recipient must provide input, typically a signature, initials, or it can be a date signed, or it can be any formula feed, which is derived from your Salesforce data. So typically tabs are assigned to individual recipients to provide their input. After the recipients have entered the data, all their tabs in the documents of an envelope, the signing process is complete. Now, in order to visualize this process in an envelope document, let me show you how we will be positioning tags. So I'm going to switch to my Salesforce org and also show you an example of a document that I will be using here. So this is going to be a template that we would be using for our envelope today. You will see I have placed two signers and I have added an initial position for signer 1 and a signature position. Similarly, an initials position for signer 2 and a signature. So basically what we are going to do in our demo is we are going to dynamically place initials as well as signature tags in this document and then send this across to our recipients. Let's take a look at how this will work with our Apex Toolkit APIs. I've also made sure that this document has been added to my Salesforce org as a content document. So basically I will be picking up this document directly in my Apex Toolkit API code and then placing the dynamic tags in the initial and signature for both the recipients. Let me jump to the developer console to see how we can achieve this. So basically I've created a sample Apex class in my developer org here. And this Apex class contains a static method, nothing fancy, just a simple class and a simple static method. Now in this static method, we are going to construct the logic of creating an envelope, associating the envelope document that we just saw to that envelope, and adding a couple of recipients along with dynamic tags for those recipients. Let's see how the flow goes here. So initially we start off by picking a Salesforce.com ID as a source object ID for our envelope. This will make sure that once the envelope is completed, the completed documents along with any certificates are returned back automatically to this source object. Moving on, you'll see DFSLE namespace references throughout the entire code. DFSLE namespace corresponds to our managed package namespace. And since Apex Toolkit methods and classes are exposed from this managed packages, you have to refer all the data types as well as methods using the DFSLE namespace prefix. So to start off, we are just creating a data type or a type, calling it as my envelope, which is our envelope data type from the Apex Toolkit exposed types. We have provided a simple get empty envelope method, which will help us start off with our transaction. Basically, we are just creating a placeholder envelope to begin with. Now, in this empty envelope, we would be first adding the content that would go into the envelope. So basically, the document that you are seeing here has been uploaded to my Salesforce as a file, and then I am just choosing the content version from that content document. So people familiar with Salesforce files must be aware of how content document and content version work in Salesforce. So nothing fancy, just picking up the latest content version. And since there is only one version that I've added, I'm adding the limit as 1. You can be more creative in your implementation in case you want to filter the content version to a specific date or to a specific version. The next thing that we do is we invoke the with documents method provided. So inside the empty envelope, now we are adding this template document, and we have provided the ability for you to dynamically add one or multiple content versions to an envelope. So basically, the document service exposes a method called get documents, and we need to make sure, or we need to pass certain parameters to this method. So in this case, we are alerting this method that we are going to pass a content version object, and then we are passing the IDs of the content version. In our example, we are just working with a single document. That is why I'm just passing the single ID that we queried on line number 12. So now we have an empty envelope, and the next step that we did is we added content to that envelope, basically the content that we are seeing here. Moving one step further, we have to create a signer, and then we have to add tabs to that signer. So now what we are going to do is we are going to start off by creating the tabs for the signer. So you'll see a tab data type that has been exposed in our recent releases, and this allows customers to dynamically create tabs in their envelope. So we support most of the tabs that are supported by the DocuSign e-signature API. The tabs and the specific tabs that we support, the details of all this is present on our Developer Center website under our API Toolkit references. So in this case, we are starting off by creating a signature tab, which is called a sign here tab. So I'm just associating this tab with a sign here tab 1, since this tab will be associated with my first signer. Setting a scale, making sure that this tab is mandatory, and setting an anchor for this tab. Now the anchor piece is very crucial. It will make sure that the envelope knows where to, or the engine knows where to place this tab when the envelope is being constructed. So you notice that I've mentioned an anchor string as signature 1. So if I jump back to my document, this tab will be placed over here next to this signature 1. You can adjust the alignment as well as set X and Y offsets according to how you want the tab to actually appear in the document, and in order to make sure that the tab appears in alignment with the actual anchor string that you are specifying. Moving one step ahead, I'm going to use the same logic to create another tab, and this time it will be a initial here tab with the anchor string initials 1, so that this tab will be placed here. So now we have created those two tabs dynamically. The next thing would be to create a signer. So in this case, I am adding a recipient using our recipient from source method. for our example, just hard coding the names as well as the email. In the next example, we'll also see how we can dynamically populate these properties by querying contact records from Salesforce. So once a signer has been created, I am then associating both of the tabs that I created, my sign here tab 1 and my initial here tab 1 to this new signer. That's it, pretty simple. Just create the tabs, create the signer and associate those tabs. 3 simple steps. Similarly, we are going to follow the same logic for our second signer, where we'll create a new tab called my sign here tab 2 and my initial here tab 2. The anchor strings would differ since these are the tabs that we are creating for signer 2. So we have signature 2 here and initials 2 here. If you take a look at this document, these are the sections, or these are the exact spots where we are expecting these tabs to be populated dynamically. Once the tabs are created, we create the recipient and then we add those tabs. So it's the same thing or the same approach that we followed for the first recipient. Now finally what we do is we combine both these recipients and add them to our envelope. So basically we are using the with recipient methods and we are passing in both the recipients, my recipient 1 and my recipient 2. So the flow would, once the envelope is sent, the flow would be signer 1 will get the email, signer 1 will complete the envelope, fill in all the tabs, then the envelope will go over to signer 2, where signer 2 will do the same process. Let's invoke this Apex using our anonymous context and see how this transactions work with respect to signing. So I'm going to select my with send envelope with tabs method and execute highlighted operation. Now I'm going to share the email context for the first signer. So you'll see we have just received a DocuSign notification 7 seconds before. I click on review document and you'll see the magic here. Both the dynamic tags are automatically placed in the correct location with reference to their anchor strings. So I'm going to initial here and just finish this process for signer 1. Now once signer 1 completes this process, the envelope will flow to signer 2. So opening the email context for signer 2, you see 9 seconds ago, immediately after the signer 1 completed the process, signer 2 receives the notification. They can review the document. And you'll see now the tabs for signer 2 are automatically placed in the correct position according to the anchors that we specified it. Just complete this envelope and that's it. The process is completed. So basically use Apex Toolkit, add your dynamic tabs, create them using the code, place them correctly using anchor strings, and then send the envelope. I think pretty simple and straightforward process. We also have a complete and an exhaustive example on our developer center for this. Moving on with our presentation. The next feature that we are going to discuss is one of the safe harbor features, which has not yet been released publicly. We are expecting this feature to be released publicly in our next release 3.3. But as of now, since this is not yet released. Oh, sorry, I was scared there, Lord.
Sorry, I'm super excited for this. I'm like so pumped. I've seen this in the background, so I'm like super pumped for this. Sorry, ignore me. Sure. I'll go quiet again.
No problems. All right. Cool. So as I was mentioning earlier, that this feature will be provided in our next public release. Let's see how this feature works and what are the interesting things about this feature. So over the past decade, consumer behavior has changed and more people are shifting towards mobile as a means to access and share critical information. A study has found that consumers prefer SMS notifications over email by 2.5 times when it comes to receiving important notifications. So using this feature, customers will be able to receive SMS on their phone in addition to the email that they are accustomed to when an envelope is sent. So basically, customers can now open up the SMS for the DocuSign notification directly from their phone and just complete the signing process directly from their phone. There won't be a separate need for them to monitor their emails and sign. This is very useful for customers who are more hands-on using their mobile rather than using desktops and laptops and signing from checking their emails. So let's see how this feature is implemented using the Apex Toolkit. And we will also see a mobile screen demo once we trigger the Apex Toolkit code. So moving back to my developer console, I have created a second class, Apex Toolkit SMS Delivery. Simple Apex class again contains a simple static method here, send envelope with SMS delivery. We are going to do again the same things, create an empty envelope, add a recipient to this envelope, add a document to this envelope, and then send the envelope. Now for this example, we are just focusing on one signer and not using two signers that we saw in the previous example. So this example contains a separate document which contains only one signer. So I have again uploaded this document to Salesforce as a content document. And in my Apex Toolkit code, I'm using the ID of that content document and getting the content version here. Same thing as we did in the first example. Once an empty envelope is created, I add the content version to this envelope. Now combining the power of our first example, we are also dynamically creating two tabs here. Again, signer tab and an initial year tab, associating it with anchor text. The same thing as we did in the first example. As I mentioned earlier, in this example, we are going to show how to dynamically populate your recipients with Salesforce data. So what I've done is I have a contact in my Salesforce and I'm querying the name, email, phone for this contact. In the recipient implementation in Apex Toolkit, I am associating the name, the email, and then the two tabs that we created here. And this is the line number 63 is the method that we are focusing on. This is the new method where after creating a recipient, you can specify with SMS delivery and provide a phone. So what will happen is once this envelope is sent, the recipient will not only get an email notification, but they will also receive an SMS on their phone. And this with SMS delivery, make sure that that recipient is tied with SMS delivery as well. And finally, we associate our recipient to our envelope and then send the envelope. So let us execute this code and see how the SMS example works. So I will choose this section and click on execute highlighted. And once this execution is completed, I'll just pull over my phone view and you will see that 10:32 a.m. I have received an email, or I have received an SMS from DocuSign alerting me that there is a document for me to view and sign. So once I click on this link, you'll notice that the signing starts directly. And I'll just expand this a bit more. Oops. Okay. I can choose initials, sign here. All this will look pretty neat on a actual mobile device. Since I'm sharing the mobile device, the font here is a bit small. And then we can finish. So straightforward, we are getting an SMS and then we are clicking on the link in the SMS and completing the signing process. Moving on with our presentation. So both these features, with these features, we are expecting customers can make their implementations more dynamic, and it will eventually help them tackle their business processes in Salesforce. With that, I think we are done with both the features and the demo of these features, and it's time to move on to our favorite Q&A section.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I have been told I have 5. That's right. You can't see me, but I'm holding my hand up. 5 swag packs for anyone who stumps Vineet with a question. But I do have some questions already that came to me. So I will ask them if that's okay, Vineet, first.
Sure.
The first question I have actually relates to the mobile demo you just gave there. The first one was, will this also work on Apple? Because I have an Apple device and I see the demo is in a Galaxy Android.
Sure. Yes. So the SMS will be sent to a carrier, and in the same way as you receive messages on your Android device, you'll also receive the same SMS messages on your iPhone as well.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Another one that came in, and it was pertaining to your previous demo. It came in while you were demoing it. I only have DocuSign Essentials installed in my org, not the apps launcher. Do I need to install the app launcher to be able to use the Apex toolkit, or do I update Essentials, or how can I use the Apex toolkit?
Sure, that is a very good question, and I'll give a brief history on DocuSign Essentials and DocuSign Apps Launcher. So Perfect. When we started off our managed package in 2018, the first few versions, we named our managed package as DocuSign Essentials for Salesforce. And recently we have changed the name, and the managed package is now named DocuSign Apps Launcher. So basically you don't have to do anything funky here. You just need to upgrade to the latest managed package version that is publicly available on AppExchange. That will make sure you have all the latest features as well as all our latest Apex Toolkit releases in your underlying global APIs.
Awesome. Cool. We got a question in from Mark, and I'm just trying to pull up the video, so bear with me 1 second before I actually ask the question. Oh, where's it gone? I know we have it here somewhere. Okay, I'll ask the question, and then Mark, I will put the link in the roadmap. Mark has asked Vineet, is there a roadmap to allow signatures via the Salesforce community, OOTB, or what is the long-term vision?
Can you repeat that again, Lauren?
Sure.
Sorry, my connection got disconnected.
No worries. It was a bit of a mouthful, so let's go again. Is there a roadmap to allow signatures via the Salesforce community, OOTB, or what is the long-term vision?
Sure. So right now in our recent releases 2.8, we have exposed a new template type called as community template type. So basically using that template type, you can create a template or a DocuSign template in your Salesforce org, and that will automatically add an embedded recipient as the first signer on the template. So basically a custom button created from this template will be published on your partner or customer community, and the underlying partner or customer community user can start embedded signing directly from there. So this is the first step that we have taken in order to make sure that we are supporting community users. Our product managers and teams that support our customers have seen numerous requests from customers when it comes to community implementation. And we are working not only on supporting more out of the box features for community users, but also adding functionality via the Apex toolkit, which will cater both scenarios. So yes, there is work going on to support more cases using community, but right now we believe that the Apex toolkit APIs that we have, along with the community template type that we have exposed, should be helpful for customers to start off their processes within communities as well.
Yeah, awesome. And Mark, I sent you an answer there with my email address. If you could just reach out to me, we do have a video. Vineet and I had hosted, I think it was it a month ago, maybe? We hosted a DocuSign Apex Toolkit and Salesforce Communities webinar. We have it recorded, so I will get you the link, but if you could please email me just so I have your email address to send you that link for that webinar. That should hopefully help you with the DocuSign and Salesforce Communities stuff. And a swag pack to you. You didn't stump him, but you made him talk a lot. So swag pack to you, Mark. Anthony has asked a question. Can we use Apex Toolkit to send SMS to our current Salesforce SMS provider, sending the DocuSign envelope link, or does this only work using DocuSign's SMS provider?
So this feature works only using our SMS, the with SMS authentication, a global method that we are supporting right now. So yes, the answer to this question is you should use our Apex Toolkit methods.
Okay. And Anthony, I'm just sending you an email address. DocuSign. I can't spell my name today as well. You'd know it's a Monday. I can't spell my name. Anthony, I have sent you an email. If you could just an email address, if you could just send me an email, and I will send you a link for your swag pack as well. We have another question from Blanca. Blanca is a regular on our webinars, so welcome back, Blanca. So here is a question. When you say embedded recipient via Salesforce Community, is that fully embedded experience, or still rely on remote signing experience? Can you launch out of the box embedded recipient from a ScreenFlow?
Yes. So there are two parts to this question, and I'll answer the first part. So the first part is yes, when you say embedded signing, basically DocuSign signing will open in the same browser window along with your Salesforce browser. And once the signing is completed, you'll be redirected back to Salesforce. And part two of this question is using our new template type, you can create these templates that have embedded recipients as the first signer directly in your org. So that should help you set up the scenario so that you can visualize how it looks. You can also use Apex Toolkit. There is an example for you how you can use embedded signing using Apex Toolkit on our Developer Center website.
Cool. So Blanca, if you need help getting access to that, by all means, just reach out to me, and swag pack to you too. Woo! I do have another question that did come in, so please keep those questions coming. I love playing this game of Stump Vineet, but please do keep those questions coming in. Are documents created by CLM accessible outside of Salesforce?
So with our CLM implementation for DocuSign Apps Launcher, CLM has its own e-signature workflows. So basically, you can use the CLM interface itself in order to trigger these transactions. Having said that, there is also ability to download CLM documents. So basically, you can download those CLM documents into your Salesforce orgs and then trigger your business processes. So you have two options here. You can use the CLM user interface, or you can sync those documents to Salesforce and then work on those as you feel comfortable.
Okay, cool. We have another question. Does it support older APIs? I'm not sure if you're referring to the mobile side of things. So if you could clarify, but Vinny, if you could talk about APIs and both features that you've demoed.
Sure. So yes, since we are iterating our managed package and adding more and more Apex methods with each and every release, yes, our previously supported global methods are also compatible with all these new methods that we are exposing. So in case if you have any integrations that are using, let's say, an Apex Toolkit API that was published like a year ago, that should also be working seamlessly, irrespective of whether you are upgrading to the latest version that we support.
Awesome. Any more questions? Oh, we have one popping in. Blanca, are the permissions embedded in the recipient out of the box for community need let me start that one again. Are there permissions the embedded recipient out of the box for community will need assigned, or is that streamlined in the solution offered?
Sure. So basically, community users need to be assigned a specific permission set, which is DocuSign sender. Mm-hmm. And once that permission set is assigned and a custom button or any Visualforce or LWC implementation that you are building is exposed on the community user's page layout, they can start the transaction. They just need to have the permission set. And once the permission set is assigned and they click on the button, automatically a signing session will start. Once the signing session is completed, they'll be redirected back to their community context.
Awesome. Cool. Blanca was trying to multitask while typing. No worries, Blanca, I gotcha. We'll get through this together. Is there anyone else with any other questions? I have one swag pack left. Okay. If you could go to the next slide for me while we have folks on the call. I just want to give everyone a little refresh as to what's going on in the community. So first off, here's some developer resources. So the Developer Apex, the Developer Center, where you can access those Apex codes that Vineet was mentioning. We've got Stack Overflow if you do have any questions whatsoever, but please do tag DocuSign API. Myself and a few other folks from our team actually go in and answer these questions for you. We have our support center, as always. DocuSign University have loads of learn at your own pace courses, completely free. You do not need a DocuSign license to access them. You can use a Gmail account. And there are more courses coming soon. I'm currently doing a beta for one of them. So forward-looking statement. We have some good blogs going on in the Developer Center. And again, we will talk about new features, stuff that's coming along, all those kind of things. What else do we have? We have YouTube. Yes, I am going to be a YouTube star if it kills me. Oh, I have a Q&A. Oh, nope, that's it. So we have a YouTube channel. This is where we will host, for example, this recording will probably go up there. We have tips and tricks videos that go up, and we currently spam. So feel free to take a look at the YouTube channel. We have up and coming webinars. So we have an extended TDX Learning Week this week for you. So tomorrow we have Beyond e-signature, and we have Learn to Implement Salesforce OAuth in DocuSign. That is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific and 12 p.m. Pacific, so midday. We also have on what day is that? Wednesday, I think I'm just all muddled up today. We have a DocuSign for Salesforce meetup. This is where you'll just come and chat and network with some other folks who are in the DocuSign and Salesforce space. That is at 10 a.m. Pacific. And again, on Wednesday, we have the Agreement Cloud in Customer 360. So how does it fit in with Salesforce? That is actually being hosted by one of our product managers. So feel free to come and roast him and ask him all the difficult questions as well. That's at midday on June 30th. And July 1st, we have, again, 2 webinars, the DocuSign e-signatures best practice tips and tricks. This is my session. So if you want to hear more of my accent, feel free to come along. And that's at 10 a.m. Pacific. And at midday, at 12 p.m. Pacific, we have 5 tips to speed up your revenue cycle with DocuSign for Salesforce. So come, join, learn, ask questions. We have a whole host of experts hosting these. So this is your chance to go and ask all those good questions. We also have an API office hours on June 13th. July 20th, we have Live from the Trenches with Matt King. And e-signature for Salesforce meetup on July 21st. We have plenty of partner resources as well, but feel free to reach out at any time. You can grab me on Twitter. I'm at Lauren Dunn __C. And, you know, hope to see you at the next one. Thank you for joining us.